Coming up, a WWE star is reportedly done with the company after Raw, major plans have been leaked for the Blue Universal title, and all the biggest moments from last night's Raw.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Super Review News. I'm Ollie Davis, and to kick things off, here's the 10th of February 2020 episode of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. Seth Rollins opened the show introducing his own video package recap. Such heel, a long in-ring promo, much bad guy, all while wearing a furry leather jacket and a man bun. Rollins das Uber heel. After being beaten by them the last 2 weeks, Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders ran down for a brawl, which also saw Samoa Joe return from concussion to choke Rollins out and set up the 8-man tag main event. The babyfaces were still celebrating beating up Rollins when his real-life fiancée Becky Lynch made her entrance for the next match. Awkward. Lynch versus Asuka felt like a really big deal here, with Becky being super over with the crowd and all the pomp and circumstance of a championship match. And the two really delivered, putting on a pay-per-view caliber bout with near falls and near taps for Becky to win with the man slam. And that excellent match was immediately followed by a very attention-grabbing angle. Shayna Baszler choking Becky out with the Kirifuda clutch and then debuting her new finisher, eating human flesh. Actual cannibal Shayna Baszler. Shayna popped a blood capsule in her mouth for added effect. I wonder where they got that spot from. And Lynch used her acting chops to effectively sell her now bleeding head. Or she's just ginger, it's hard to tell. But the badassery wasn't done there, as normal babyfaces walk out the arena on their own 2 feet. But Das Uber babyfaces hijack an ambulance and drive themselves to the local medical facility too. To add to the silly entertainment, Becky then played Grand Theft Auto, driving the ambulance back to the arena later on, implying she arrived at the hospital in a stolen ambulance, got treatment for her head wound, then re-stole the ambulance and drove it back to cut an in-ring promo promising to get revenge on Baszler. The Street Profits squashed Mojo Rawley and Riddick Moss, for Moss to Rawley up his mate and win the 24/7 title. Because he's still around after the Royal Rumble, MVP hosted Drew McIntyre on his old VIP lounge segment. Drew was tremendously affable here, psyching the crowd up for a WrestleMania sign point, and then turning down MVP's offer to be his business manager because he doesn't need a mouthpiece like Paul Heyman, and then Claymored him over a couch. Following his brilliant debut last week, Angel Garza took on the ghost of Christmas pushes, Cedric Alexander. Humberto Carrillo jumped in pre-match because Garza was being too sexy, but Angel still easily beat Alexander with the wing clipper. Caruso alert! Rhea Ripley squashed Sarah Logan while Charlotte watched on from the stage. Flair said she won't respond to Ripley's challenge until her TakeOver Portland match this Sunday, which was a good bit of promotion for NXT. Woo! WrestleMania 37 was announced to be in LA next year with a timely Hollywood theme following the previous night's Oscars. Damn it, after the Pirates I thought we were going to get dinosaur themed. Caruso alert! Ricochet cut a lame superhero promo which the crowd was so into they chanted for Rusev Day, but then he totally won them over, backflipping out of a second rope German and beating Bobby Lashley with a 630 splash. That's how you get Ricochet over, with his amazing offense in the ring, not with hokey promos. Randy Orton came to the ring from out of the entrance ramp to explain himself when Edge's best friend forever they've totally never had any issues, Matt Hardy, came out to confront him. Matt got nostalgia pops for his outfit and the initials TLC, while Randy nodded in respect. That's what I love about Orton's heel turn, these seemingly sincere reactions, making me buy that he's conflicted when really he's just thinking up new ways to hurt people. Orton RKO'd Matt from outer, an initially blocked attempt, and then wrote Hardy off TV with a solo concerto and a look that says, "Say hi to Tony for me." More on that in the news later. You've got to think Christian will be coming out for an Orton segment soon. Not Caruso alert! Ruby Riott said she put Liv Morgan in her place last week because she'll always be a follower, not her own thing. And with this booking, you're probably right. Aleister Black squashed Akira Tozawa in under a minute and then literally said, "I'm trapped inside a metaphoric cage." So emo. WWE announced a 2-week Mountain Trophy Gauntlet match with Andrade. His suspension will be up that day. Bobby Lashley and Rusev, so that storyline is still going on. AJ Styles, implying he'll have recovered from his shoulder injury by then. R-Truth and Rowan, who seemingly had his creepy box gimmick dropped. The main event was the latest combination of KO Joe and the Viking Raiders versus Seth and his disciples, and I'm not complaining. This match wasn't just exciting and dramatic, there is a really solid attention to detail running through this story. It was Owens who was the one worked over most by the heels, a nod to him being left alone in the previous weeks, and Seth was always coaching his protege Murphy from the apron, but it was the finish that was so well done. After a dramatic sequence that included an Owens senton off the top rope, Rollins stomped Samoa Joe while he had Murphy in the coquina clutch, leaving Murphy to fall on top of him to make an unconscious pin. Murphy has yet to win a match without Seth's help. So that was this week's Raw in about 5 minutes. What do you think about Matt Hardy leaving WWE to potentially be the Dark Order leader in AEW? Let me know in the comments because I'll be replying from out of nowhere. And click the eye above my head to let me know what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Rawsome, Core, Average, Poor, and Rawful. And of course, press the thumbs up button. Dance, Chopper. This was yet another great episode of Raw. Not as much happened on it as previous weeks, but the 3 hours sped by, and there were several memorable angles making Becky look great. This week's Raw is Core. Just before I hot tag to Laurie with the news a wrestler has now left WWE following that episode of Raw, I can announce the winner of this month's WrestleTalk Extra poll is Elimination Chamber 2014. Luke and I will be diving in deep to that pay-per-view in our Patreon-exclusive podcast out in the next week, reviewing the show, talking about all the backstage news at the time, and what I'm most excited for, reliving that epic Wyatt family versus Shield 6-man tag. Become a WrestleTalk Pledgehammer on Patreon today by clicking the eye above my head or the link in the video description below to get access to that when it's out, and years worth of exclusive shows. Hot tag to Laurie.
Well, thank you, Oliver. So, as Ollie said during his review, Matt Hardy was given the old smashy brains chair maneuver, which is not its official name, as the legend killer killed again. I thought we took this guy off the streets for good. Man, the justice system in America is messed up. Now, this makes Matt the second victim of a rogue concerto and likely on the injured list, much the same as Edge. And many are speculating that this could be a way to write Hardy off of TV as his contract reportedly expires on March the 1st. Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet even updated to say that Matt is done with WWE, and this was definitely how they move him off the roster. I guess it's a lot like how EastEnders writes people out. You either die or you move to Manchester. And Matt seemingly confirmed the whole thing with a Twitter post saying goodbye and linking to the latest Free the Delete episode where he keeps trying to tell a drone that he is exalted. This is what creative control can get you. Oh, I almost forgot. Matt Hardy to AEW confirmed. Just get that out of the way. Now, PW Insider have said that Matt is still in talks with WWE and the possibility of a last-minute deal has not necessarily been ruled out, but the problem is not the money, it's the creative differences that are a real hurdle, because WWE clearly doesn't want to waste their drones. Creative control. Before you go too far into the idea that Matt leaving WWE would leave the company with hardly any Hardys, there's always the matter of Jeff. Because PW Insider have said that the charismatic Enigma is scheduled to be at the Performance Center next week to assess just how close he is to an in-ring return. Now, Jeff has been out with a leg injury since shortly after WrestleMania 35 in April, which people reckon would take him 6 to 9 months to recover from. His contract is still set to expire on March the 1st as well, but WWE will likely pile on a bunch of injury time on top, so I guess it will be the end of 2020 before he actually gets out of the company, if he wants to leave at all. He is also scheduled to be in court on April the 6th, the day after Mania, for charges related to his DWI arrest from last October. Unlike Matt, who's got a DUI, droning while under the influence of a many-tentacled elder god. That Free the Delete video was bloody weird. Now to quickly hop over to the tag team who blazed the trail for wanting to leave WWE, The Revival. And you can blaze trails but not actually be allowed to go down them, right? Though the time for the travelling down the trail that one has blazed may soon be upon us, because Tom Colohue has been reporting that WWE is frustrated with how the negotiations with Dash and Dawson have gone, and their next offer to the team will be the final one. And also because Dash Wilder has deleted his official WWE Twitter account. A strange move for somebody who wants to stay. Now, a few weeks back, Scott Dawson tweeted that he was taking a break from social media until he got everything figured out. This caused the whole thing. Everyone thought they were leaving the company, going off TV, whatever. He said, no, it's just social media, guys. Get over it. It's Twitter. Don't make a storm out of everything. They were like, but it's Twitter. So maybe Dash quitting Twitter is part of that wider figuring things out, leaving social media, because nothing says wiping the slate clean like going dark on Twitter, only to appear like an old school grappling phoenix and sign with AEW. But then if they do leave, they're going to miss out on all the fun at WWE, like them pre-advertising matches before the story has actually happened. I know we spoil things here on this channel, but this is ridiculous. This happened during Raw last night on USA as an ad rolled for Elimination Chamber, spoiling the fact that the Chamber match will be a SmackDown-orientated affair with the winner getting a shot at the Universal Champion. But not only that, set for time in the pods will be King Corbin, Robert Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns, whose pod will no doubt be filled with dog food at some point during the match, making him the first WWE superstar and man ever to drown in pedigree chum. Now, it's fairly obvious that the Chamber match would be SmackDown-centric after Drew McIntyre called out Lesnar after the Rumble, but announcing the competitors with absolutely no storyline build yet is just a bit weird. Oh, SmackDown. Whatever happened to the land of opportunity? It was washed away in a tidal wave of dog food. A shit tsunami. Well, thanks for watching. Do me a favour and whack the thumbs up button, leave a comment as well, and subscribe if you haven't already and you want wrestling news delivered right to your subscription box on a daily basis. If you can't wait till tomorrow though, there's another video right over there for you to get your chops round. I've been El Fakador and that was Lucha.